Hi everyone. So we have to start the fifth semester organic chemistry class. We have 6 or 7 modules mentioned in the syllabus, and I am going to start with the ethers and epoxides modules. As you have heard about ethers, the functional group of ether is COC. An oxygen comes in between two alkyl groups is normally known as ether functional groups. And epoxides, you might have heard about epoxides too. Epoxides is just like an oxygen ring or two alkyl groups, and then the carbons are attached via an oxygen atom in the form of a ring, and this is what is called epoxides. And now we have to discuss what are ethers and what are epoxides. A general introduction about ethers and epoxides. And ethers are organic compounds containing COC. This is the functional group, COC functional group, and they may be represented by the general formula ROR. So you are familiar with this structure. ROR dash can also be there if there is one of the alkyl group is different in nature compared to the other one. For example, here we have two types of ethers possible. One is symmetrical ether and another is asymmetric ether. So here the two alkyl groups on both sides of this oxygen are same, we call it as symmetrical ethers, and if the two alkyl groups on both sides of the oxygen atom is different, we call it as unsymmetrical ether. And this ether is normally known as dimethyl ether because two methyl groups are attached on both sides of the oxygen. So this is dimethyl and ether group ether. Otherwise, this is known as methoxymethane. Here CH3O group is methoxy group, and then methoxy, another what remains is CH3 group methane. So this is either dimethyl ether or we can call it as methoxymethane. And in this case unsymmetrical ether, here one alkyl group is CH3 and another alkyl group is ethyl group. So this compound either called as ethyl methyl ether. First we have to start with the alkyl group having lower alphabets. First in the alphabetic order, here methyl M comes after ethyl E. Then first we have to give ethyl for naming this compound ethyl, and then methyl ether. Otherwise we can call it as methoxy. CH3O is methoxy ethane. C2H5 is ethane. And when we come to cyclic ethers like this kind of compounds, the naming is slightly different. We normally call this in their common name anisole. This compound is called anisole, C6H5 or CH3, and this compound is what is called phenitol. Here a CH2 group is there extra as compared to this compound, C6H5 or CH2 CH3 or C2H5. This is phenitol. Next is epoxides. Epoxides are alkene oxides. Normally these compounds are made from alkene. These compounds are alkene oxides or three-membered cyclic ether. So this compound CH2CH2O, ethylene oxide or oxirane. This is ethylene oxide. So CH2CH2 is ethylene, and it is bridged through two carbon atoms are attached through an oxygen atom. So this is what is called ethylene oxide, or we call it as oxirane ring. And when we come to the higher epoxides, we can call this compound as tetrahydrofuran. Okay, and then let us discuss the preparation of ethers. Williamson synthesis is a very important method for the preparation of ethers. Here in Williamson synthesis we use sodium alkoxide, RO minus Na plus sodium alkoxide, when heated with alkyl halide RCl yields the corresponding ether. So the reaction seems to be simple. Sodium alkoxide reacts with alkyl halide, then what we get is this alkyl group of alkyl halide will attach with the alkoxy group of this compound and sodium halide will remove off. Okay, and this reaction is called Williamson's synthesis. Now let us discuss how the reaction is taking place. So here we have taken sodium alkoxide, okay, RO minus Na plus reacting with alkyl halide RX, and then this forms a sodium halide, and then what remains will be attached to it. Then heated, then we get ether, then sodium halide as the byproduct. And for example, when we specifically take sodium ethoxide, so this is ethanol, hydrogen is replaced by sodium ethoxide, and this is C2H5O minus is ethoxide ion, and this is sodium ethoxide reacting with ethyl iodide, okay, and then we get diethyl ether, okay, or we call it as ethoxyethane. So we get diethyl ether when reacting sodium ethoxide with ethyl iodide, and then the byproduct is sodium iodide. Here when we take sodium ethoxide reacting with methyl bromide, for example, and heated it, and then we get here instead of ethane we take methane, so we get ethyl methyl ether or methoxyethane and sodium bromide. And this is a nucleophilic substitution reaction involving the SN2 attack of an alkoxide ion on the alkyl halide. So when we look at the mechanism of this reaction, how the reaction is taking place, so this is a kind of SN2 reaction. SN2 means substitution, S means substitution, nucleophilic second order reaction, and this reaction works the best with the primary alkyl halide. So normally primary alkyl halides will undergo SN2 type of reaction, okay, and then this type of reaction is SN2 type of reaction, and this works very well with primary alkyl halide. And if we take an example, sodium ethoxide reacting with methyl bromide, the lone pair of electrons present on the oxygen atom is attacking the C3 group from the backside, and then bromine leaves as NABR. Okay, so this is what the essence of SN2 reaction. So then CH3, CH2O, CH3, and then NABR. Okay, and then now we have to discuss the preparation of an aryl ether. An aryl ether can also be prepared by Williamson's method. Here, for example, we have taken phenol and then reacting with the sodium hydroxide, then we get sodium phenoxide here. Okay, and then this sodium phenoxide is reacting with an alkyl halide, then we get an alkyl phenyl ether or cyclic ether. Okay, so this is what the reaction scheme is. So this Williamson synthesis can be used for the preparation of aryl ethers and also the alkyl ethers. Sodium phenoxide, for example, we have taken sodium phenoxide, so this is phenyl group C6H5O phenoxide, sodium phenoxide. Okay, and then that is reacting with ethyl iodide, so sodium iodide will be removed as byproduct, and then we get phenitol, okay, C6H5O C2H5 or ethoxy, this group is ethoxy benzene. Okay, and then when we take sodium phenoxide, again reacting with methyl bromide instead of ethyl iodide, then we get anisole, C6H5O CH3 NaBr. Now let's discuss the chemical reactions of ethers. Ethers are normally not highly reactive materials because it doesn't contain any labile hydrogen or active hydrogen to react, and so in many of the organic synthesis reactions either is acting as or ethers are used for used as solvents. Okay, so ethers lack a labile hydrogen. Labile hydrogen means can be easily abstracted in the presence of a base or so any other nucleophile. Labile hydrogen atom and are relatively unreactive. Okay, and hence they are widely used as solvents in organic synthetic chemistry. Okay, however, then they undergo certain reactions under specific conditions. So one of these reactions is cleavage of the carbon-oxygen bond in ether. So an strong acid can cleave the carbon-oxygen bond of an ether. Ethers react with the hot concentrated hydriodic acid HI or HBr, hydrobromic acid, to give an alkyl halide and an alcohol. So the reaction scheme is shown here. An ether is represented here ROR dash, reacting with the hydrogen halide or hydriodic acid, hydrobromic acid, etc. Presence of heat, then we get alkyl halide and then an alcohol. Okay, so specifically when we take an either ethoxyethane or diethyl ether, it is treated with the concentrated hydriodic acid HI at a high temperature, 373 Kelvin temperature. We get iodomethane, one of the product, and one of the product is alkyl halide, that is iodomethane, and second product is an alcohol, that is ethanol. Okay, so here the carbon oxygen bond got cleaved. One of the carbon oxygen bonds got cleaved. Okay, so when we use excess of hydriodic acid, the alcohol formed further reacts with HI to form an alkylated. So here we already got iodoethane and another product is ethanol, and if you use more HI, then this bond will be broken, carbon oxygen bond will be broken, and then we get iodoethane. More iodoethane we will get, and then water is the byproduct. You need to remove the water, and then we get excess amount of iodoethane. Okay, so the overall reaction can be represented as ethoxyethane reacting with hydriodic acid in excess at high temperature, then we get excess iodoethane, and then byproduct as water. So in this case of reaction, the order of reactivity of the halogen acids in this reaction is hydriodic acid HI is greater than HBr is greater than HCl. Okay, that means hydriodic acid is more stronger than HBr, which is more stronger than HCl. So more stronger acid is required for cleaving the carbon oxygen bond of ether, which reflects the order of acidity of these reagents. In fact, only hydriodic acid and HBr are sufficiently acidic to bring about carbon oxygen bond cleavage in an ether. Okay, so I am stopping here. So and then we will discuss the reactions of unsymmetric ethers in the next class.